Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, Victor drives 270 miles and consumes 6 gallons of fuel. Which of the following graphs shows this rate in miles per gallon? Okay, so what are they talking about? Well, we have this person, Victor, and he can drive 270 miles, and to cover that many miles, he's gonna need 6 gallons of gas, right? So let's underline and circle what it means over here. So we have 270 miles. That's how many miles he can cover. And the amount of gas that he's going to need of the fuel is going to be 6 gallons. Okay? So what I want to do next is I want to see if I can find my labels on the graph, because the question says that I need to compare that information with one of the graphs and see which one matches that. Okay, so the miles, if you notice, it is written down on my y-axis, right? And all of them, they're labeled in the same way, which is good because in that way we don't need to go back and forth changing numbers. What about the gallons? The gallons are on the x. Okay, very good. So let me check all of them, and yeah, all of them have x on the gallons on the x. So what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna make the comparison, because what they're talking about rate. And if you remember, rate means kind of like rise over run, rate of change, right? Okay, good. So we're gonna write down over here, change of the y over change of the x. Now, I want to write down also the comparison. What is it that the y represents? Well, the y is the miles and the x is the gallons. So when you write down the fraction, hopefully it makes more sense with the labels, right? So 270 is the miles and the gallons will be 6. Okay, now the problem with that comparison is that if I look at the graphs, it's kind of hard to find 270 on the y, because the highest number that I have on the y is 250, right? So that's the reason why I cannot find that number that easily. Now I am going to ask you to write down this as an order pair, because some of the students complain about, Miss, I don't know how to graph that number. It's kind of weird. Let's write it again. But when you write it again, make sure that x goes with x and y goes with y. So x is going to be equals to 6 and y is going to be equals to 270. Okay? Maybe that can make you feel better to look for the numbers, right, on the graph. So what I need to do is I need to simplify my 270 and 6, my fraction, because those numbers are not found on the y-axis because the highest is 250. So we're going to simplify this. I'm going to divide this by 3. When I divide by 3, I get 90 and I get a 2. Okay? So maybe I can find 90 and 2 easier. And I'm going to write it down as an order pair over here. So 2 is x, so it goes first. 90 is y, so it goes on the y. Okay? Now, if I want to simplify that, I can divide this by 2. And with that, I will get 45 and 1. Okay? So I'm going to write it down over here. So I'm comparing miles and gallons. And my numbers are 270 and 6. That was my original number. And then I simplified that and I got 90 over 2. And then I'm going to get 45 over 1. Okay? So all of these are called equivalent fractions. Remember equivalent fractions? Okay? So these are equivalent fractions, equivalent ratios. It's up to you. Okay? So now I'm going to go back and find those numbers on the graph. So I'm going to start with letter A, and 270 and 6 is out of the question. And I'm going to write down the last point over here. And the last one is 1 and 45. Some of you guys feel more comfortable with this order pair, so I'm going to choose those, okay? So I need to find 6 on x And 270, and we agreed 270 is way off, so I'm not going to choose that. Let's go to the next one. 2. 2 is right here, and 90 will be somewhere over here, right? Remember, this is 50. This will be 75, and that's 100. So 90 will be closer to 100. Go across, and go across 2, and it seems to me that it's kind of close to my line, right? Okay. What we can do is we can check the next one, which is 1 and 45. Okay. So 1 is right here before the 2, and 45 has to be below 50, just slightly below 50, right? So if you compare that and you follow my line, it looks like that point would be on the line. Is that correct? So it seems to me that A is a good answer choice for us, right? But you know what? Let's check on B, because I need for you to identify why the other ones are not the answers, okay? So for letter B, I'm going to find 2 and 90. 90 will be a little bit below 100, right? So I'm going to go across and up with 2. And I found the point right there. And that point is not on the line. It's way off, right? How about letter C? Well, letter C, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find 2 and 90, which is right here. And I'm going to go across. I'm going to go up on 2. And the point is right here. And I know what you're thinking. That kind of looks very close to the line, right? But we can check the second point, because remember, sometimes they're just slightly the difference, right? So I'm going to go ahead and find 1 and 45. So this is 1, and 45 will be below 50. So let me go across, and the point is here. I don't know if you noticed, but that point looks below the line, right? It is below the line. So the one that is actually much better answer choice for me is A. Right? Okay. What about D? D, I need to find 2 is right here. 90 is right below 100. Go across, go down, and the point is nowhere. So that's like way off. Letter B is way off, right? So the one that you might be thinking a little bit is letter C. But again, if you pay attention to letter C carefully, it looks to me that the line is actually crossing. Let me see if I can get another. It's crossing right here. And that to me, it's actually 1 and 50. And the next one will be 2 and 100. The next one is 3 and 150. So that's why C is not the answer. Okay? Because that's a little bit more, little bit off. Not a lot, but a little bit off my line. Okay? So my answer should be letter A for that one. Okay? I think it would be very convenient if we can find other points that you can for sure check, because I know some of us might be thinking, well, that point look a little bit off on A. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and choose my 45 over 1, which is one of the last ratios that I found. And I'm going to find some equivalencies to those. But I already have some on the top. So I am going to multiply by 4 because I haven't chosen anything with a 4 on my X values, right? So if I multiply by 4, let's see what numbers do I get. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to multiply by 5. This is the way that you guys can find more equivalent ratios, okay? Okay, so we get for 45 times 4, it's 180. And 1 times 4 is 4. And 45 times 5, I get 225 and 5. Okay, so sometimes, like I said, the more equivalent ratios that you find, the better that you will find the graph that is needed. So I'm going to double check on A, and I'm going to check the one with the 5. Okay, so that would be 5 on X and 225 on Y. Remember, if I write them as an order pair, so 5 is right here, and 225, I am going by 25s, if you notice, right? So this is 200, this will be 200 25, right? So that 225, I'm going to come across and I'm going to go up on 1, on 5. And the point is right there on the line, right? So if you were debating on that and you thought about C, let me prove to you that C wasn't correct. This is 5 on X, and this is 225. Go across, and the point should be right here. Do you notice how it kind of start going more off and more off the line? Okay, so this is just a way that we can prove in case that you were wondering, because the first 2 or 3 points were kind of like questionable, right? So the answer should be letter A. Now you can prove that.